Welcome into the Monday Mirror edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton, coming to you from the Lee Company studio of my home. As you can see, Chris Yao and Wade Neely, the Lee Company studios on West 7th in Columbia. So I'm kind of the odd man out today, I guess, but it works, or we're going to make it work for the next couple of hours. Guys, what's going on?
Beautiful day. Big weekend. Big weekend. A lot to get into, but excited to be back and ready to break things down. Looking forward to a good week here on Main Street.
Yeah, the weekend was actually jam-packed, full of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, literally the gambit of sports, so, and entertainment.
If you are a sports fan and you couldn't find something to watch this weekend, you're not a sports fan.
Yeah, no, it was insane. So and news from all over that we're going to get into today. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is that 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound sack today.
Yeah, we got a lot of potatoes, absolutely. So do we want to start?
Yeah, let's hop on in and get to it, because we got.
Yeah, we probably should, because I imagine the weekend rundown is not a short one. So let's give the people this weekend's results and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
Hey, folks, the Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy. ZCA offers a faith-based, Christ-centered education right here in Maury County. So give them a call at 931-388-5831 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule your appointment today. Zion Christian Academy, prepared for college, equipped for purpose.
Friday baseball scores: East Nashville 10, Antioch 2, Smith County Downs Beach 7-1, BGA falling to Providence Christian 15-5, but bouncing back in game 2, 5-4 winners there for Battleground Academy. It was Clarksville Christian 9-4 against Zion Christian. Columbia Central edging Summertown 8-7. Columbia Academy with a pair of wins over University School of Nashville 7-4 and 7-3. Watertown was a 10-3 winner over Creekwood. CPA 9-3 against Dixon County. Reese Robertson falls to Richland 13-11. Lincoln County continues their role in baseball. 9-4 winners over Giles County. Grace Franklin 3-0 over Webb School, and then 5-3 again over Webb School. Rossview 13, Green Hill 10. Frank Hughes 10 running Hampshire 13-3 was Hickman County 17-1 winners over Santa Fe. Laverne edging John Overton 10-9. Franklin Road Academy a pair wins over MTCS 1-0 and 5-4. Independence edging Oakland 3-2 was Pope Prep 15. Camden Central 11. Shelbyville 7-3 winners over Rockville. Hickman County 10-5 against Santa Fe. Loretto 12-1 winners over Scotts Hill. Siegel 6, Brentwood 0, Sycamore 10, West Creek 3, and Hume-Fogg 7, Westmoreland 0.
On Saturday, Mount Juliet with a 2-1 win over Columbia Central. It was Cookeville 10, Gallatin 2. Clarksville Academy defeated Davidson Academy 13-6. Murfreesboro Central with an 8-4 win over Decatur County Riverside. It was Dixon County 14, Montgomery Central 2. Franklin with a 9-4 win over Christ Presbyterian Academy. Friendship Christian edged Good Pasture 4-3. Lebanon defeated Rockvale 10-1. Loretto with an 18-14 shootout victory over that Lincoln County team that Chris was just talking about. Moore County 8, Zion Christian 0. Mount Pleasant with a 7-3 win over Culleoka. It was Eagleville 13, Murfreesboro Central 3. Waverly 10-0 over Pope Prep. Stewart's Creek defeated Beach 12-7, and Station Camp edged Upperman 4-3.
Softball scores from the weekend. We begin on Friday, where it was Mount Juliet knocking off Beach 4-1 was your tally there. Again, Mount Juliet 4, Beach 1. Zion Christian winning 12-0 versus Christian Community. East Hickman was a 7-5 winner versus Culleoka. Good Pasture 9, Greenbrier 4. Summertown and Loretto battled it out on Friday night. It was Summertown edging their rivals 7-5 in that contest. CPA wins it 8-3 versus Murfreesboro Central. Clarksville Christian winning 2 games versus Riverside Christian. First contest goes 20-5. And then a little bit tighter affair in game number 2. Again, Clarksville Christian 9, Riverside Christian 4. Oakland defeating Rockvale 15-5. Spring Hill edging Shelbyville 10-6 was your Friday night finale there. Saturday scores: Alcoa blanking White House 3-0. Zion Christian winning 2 from Clarksville Christian 15-2 in game 1, 3-1 in game number 2. Farragut defeats White House to cap our Saturday scoreboard. 8-2 was your final there. And in a Sunday affair, 2 rivals getting it on in Murfreesboro as Oakland edged Blackman. 4-2 was your tally.
On the pitch, boys soccer action. Columbia Central shut out by Coffee County 1-0. It was Loretto shutting out Culleoka 6-0. Beach a 4-1 winner over Gallatin. Columbia Academy and Lawrence County played to a 2-2 draw. It was Father Ryan 1-0 winners over Montgomery Bell Academy. Franklin Road Academy 9-0 winners over MTCS. Nolensville 3, Oakland 1. Stewart's Creek 2-1 winners over Rockville. West Creek 9-0 against White House. Jackson County blanks Westmoreland 2-0. On Saturday, it was Franklin 1-0 winners over Siegel. Giles County with 2 on Saturday.
Played a doubleheader. Hey, and
Doubleheader in soccer?
Yep, they hosted a classic over the weekend. They defeated Hume Fogg 6-4. Sorry, but I got to shout this out. They defeated Summit 6-5 in their second game. They scored 4 goals in the final 10 minutes of the match to come back and beat Summit 6-5 in that one on Saturday.
My goodness. That is incredible. Then Battleground Academy blanked Providence Christian 2-0. You're muted, Mo. I don't know why you're muted, but you are.
I muted myself.
I'm not sure if that's his.
Centennial, and if my internet will help me, it's not.
Iffy Whiffy is back.
Yeah, Major League Baseball action on the Braves with a 6-2 win over the Cleveland Guardians. Saturday, the Guardians defeated the Braves 4-2 in 11 innings. The Astros went down to Mexico City and defeated the Rockies 12-4. On Sunday, the Astros picked up an 8-2 win over the Rockies. The Braves in 10 won 4-3. Sounds action over the weekend. Friday, it was Nashville 11, Louisville 8. Saturday, it was Louisville 9, Nashville 3. Sunday, the Sounds won 7-4. And on the ice, Vancouver at Bridgestone on Friday night with a 2-1 victory to take a 2-1 lead in that series that they extended last night with a 4-3 overtime victory. Major League Hockey,
Soccer.
It was the Nashville Soccer Club and the Earthquakes of San Jose playing to a 1-1 draw. Most disappointing.
Yep, not great.
No
not great for NSC. Baseball schedule, a lot of games coming your way over this week as the regular season comes to a close and district tournament begins. We begin with baseball, 4:30 contest. Glencliff is at Antioch this afternoon. Hume Fogg will travel to Hunters Lane. Whites Creek will be at Stratford at 4:30. Joe Burns at White House Heritage. 5 o'clock games now as Santa Fe will visit Frank Hughes. Springfield is at Liberty Creek. Into 6 o'clock action now. It's Hendersonville at Blackman. Clarksville Academy is at Friendship Christian. McGavock is at Gallatin tonight at 6 p.m. Hillsboro will be at Harpeth. Rockvale's at Independence. East Nashville traveling to Lawson. How about that? Upperman will go to Mount Juliet tonight. Wilson Central is at Oakland. Columbia will visit Page this evening. Laverne is at Ravenwood tonight. Mount Pleasant at Spring Hill. Cannon County visiting Westmoreland. Franklin Road Christian will travel to Zion Christian. Summit will be at Siegel tonight. Greenbrier is at Clarksville. Stewart's Creek traveling to John Overton. Clarksville, Greenbrier, and Stewart's Creek, John Overton kicking off our 6:30 games now. Also at 6:30, Clarksville Northwest at Kirkwood. East Hickman is at Pope John Paul II. Lawrence County at Shelbyville to close 6:30 contest this evening. At 7 o'clock tonight, Cheatham County is at McGavock. And start times unknown, but we have Murfreesboro Central at Forest, Rossview at McCracken County, Kentucky, and Centennial at Riverdale.
All right, softball action this evening. Westmoreland's at Smith County this afternoon at 4:30. Also at 4:30, East Nashville's at St. Cecilia. Whites Creek hosting Glen Cliff. At 5 o'clock, it's DCA at CPA. Friendship Christian hosting Mount Juliet Christian. Station Camp at Hendersonville. Clarksville Christian is at Heritage Christian Academy in Kentucky. Nolensville is at Independence. Lawrence County welcomes Wayne County. Mount Juliet at home against Beach. Knights Academy is at Murfreesboro Central Magnet. Mount Pleasant goes to Perry County. Spring Hill is at Warren County. Webb School welcomes Grace Franklin, and Loretto playing a doubleheader going west, young man, at Giles County.
5:30 starts for Overton at Battleground Academy. Joe Burns at Blackman. Summit at Centennial. Brentwood at Franklin. Marshall County hosting Columbia Central. Also Laverne traveling to McGavock. Ravenwood taking on visiting Dixon County. Eagleville at Summertown, and Clarksville at West Creek. I'm sorry, Clarksville at West Creek is not at 5:30. It is at 5:50.
And not a minute sooner.
6 o'clock start for Culleoka at Cornersville. Also Frank Hughes hosting Santa Fe. Franklin Road Christian at Zion Christian at 6:30. That's going to be interesting. At 6:30, Lebanon is at Cookville. Lebanon is also at Springfield. Check your local
split
listings.
squad.
Yeah, a little spring training action there.
It's
Franklin's
probably at Cookville, since that's the district game, and another district game probably got rained out, so it's probably a reschedule. And I would have guessed the Cookville game is probably accurate.
It most likely is at
educated
Cookville.
guess.
Well, not a little bit more than educated. Hang on. Lebanon at Cookville at 6:30. Rossview at Springfield at 7. Also
Bingo.
at 7, Franklin Simpson, Kentucky at East Robertson. Times unknown to us are Sycamore at Cheatham County, Moore County at Eagleville, Fairview at East Hickman. Brentwood Academy travels to Ensworth. Harpeth Hall hosts Father Ryan. Houston County is at Hickman County. University School of Nashville goes to Martin Luther King. Portland hosting Sycamore. Whoa. Yeah. Here's what's happened. We've had some rainouts, and we've had some district games scheduled over top of some non-district games here. So check your local listings. Sycamore is not at Portland and at Cheatham County. So just for what that's worth. Montgomery Central is at Stewart County, and Westmoreland goes to White House Heritage.
Capping our action tonight, boys soccer schedule is as follows. 5 o'clock, we'll see Friendship Christian traveling to Nashville Christian. 6 p.m. kickoff as Loretto visits Adamsville tonight. Good Pasture will be at Macon County. Spring Hill traveling to Page this evening. Mount Juliet Christian will hit the road for a trip to Portland. At 6:30 now, Culleoka will visit McEwen. Rockvale will welcome Riverdale to their side of the borough tonight. At 7 o'clock this evening, it'll be Kirkwood at Clarksville Northeast. Greenbrier will host Springfield. And a start time is not available to us, but we do see Franklin traveling to Oakland to cap our high school scoreboard tonight. Schedule for tonight, Major League Baseball, 8:40 p.m. Stay up late, get a shot of coffee, maybe even toss in an espresso, because at 8:40 tonight on the West Coast, Atlanta traveling to Seattle to take on the Mariners. Game can be seen on MLB Network or Bally's Sports South. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your rundown.
Top story presented as always by Piggly Wiggly and Neely's Mill in Columbia. Be sure and stop through for their delicious daily deli lunch options, as well as their hand-cut meats, and everything is cost plus 10% at the cash register. Piggly Wiggly, Neely's Mill, Columbia, bringing you our top story. Hello?
I'm starving. I didn't eat lunch today, and now I'm just sitting here thinking about cobbler and yeah.
That
That's
was a targeted
unfortunate.
ad then.
It was. I am the target audience for that ad.
If Chris dips out, it's because he has
Now you'll know.
run out to Piggly Wiggly for their delicious daily deli lunch options. How late is lunch?
I'm sure it's probably closed by now. I don't know. I'm sure they may keep it open, throughout the evening.
Yeah.
I don't know
It's-
that it stops at lunch. But I've not tried to go by there after lunch, so I don't know.
Maybe it's not lunch. Maybe it's lunch and dinner.
Maybe it's
You could be onto something.
could
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. At any rate, our top story, I guess it was yesterday that this was announced.
Mhm.
3-time WNBA champion, 2-time WNBA MVP. Lot of initials associated with Candace Parker. She's also an LVFL, Lady Vol for life, and now you can put RET period at the back of that. Candace Parker announced her retirement after 16 professional basketball seasons yesterday, and as I tweeted, at the age of 38, you knew that this was closer than it wasn't, but still, it comes as a little of a shock when the official announcement comes. And as much as you hate to see great athletes retire, you love to see them go out on their terms. And just like she's done everything else throughout her career, that's what Candace Parker did yesterday.
Yeah, I don't even know if maybe it was her terms. I know obviously the injuries the last 2 years have probably played a part in this, but again, you said she's 38 years old. Not many people play professional sports past 38, so or even at 38. So I mean, the fact that she was able to play at 37 last year in the limited time she played is impressive. I want to mention she was the recipient of the 2007 Wade Trophy.
Of course.
So good job, Wade, for getting involved in that. But
Yeah,
That sound you hear is me Googling the Wade Trophy.
the Wade Trophy.
I don't think that's that Wade, but
It is
No, not that
presented
quite.
annually to the best upper class women's basketball player in the NCAA, named after 3-time national champion Delta State University coach Lily Margaret Wade. So not named after Wade Neely.
No.
But rather the Fighting Ochre's Lily Margaret. So, but yeah, it's interesting. I was scrolling TikTok and I, part of my algorithm is women's basketball, and there was, I guess it was a New York Liberty practice. Someone was going around breaking the news to different players. Like Brianna Stewart was like she's not playing, like she's effective immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, they were all shocked to hear the news, and as most of us were. But as someone who as we have Mo for sure, following her career from high school graduation through 2-time national champion, 2-time MOP, all the way through her WNBA career. It's just been a pleasure to watch one of the greatest to ever do it. I mean, she's a top 5 player all time, in my opinion. And maybe not in Gino Auriemma's opinion, but does his really count?
As Mike Tomlin would say, we do not care.
We do not care.
Yeah.
So
I smell a top 5 tomorrow, though.
no, man, that was, please don't put me on that because I'll be in trouble. Top 5 women's basketball players.
Man, all I'm going to say on this is obviously this to me just seems like the injuries kind of really had taken too much of a toll because, I mean, she was in a great situation, especially last year. And injuries obviously ended up getting her a little bit in last year, but she played still in 18 games for the Aces. And it was kind of fun watching her embrace. She started at the beginning of the season, but as the year went along, she kind of became, and this was just wild to see, she was the best sixth man in the history of the WNBA, basically, because when she would come in, she was just so still had that absolute pop and zip coming off the bench. And so I thought Vegas might be able to bring her back on a limited deal. So to me, this says either one of two things. Either the injuries really have just gotten too much and she would have to just really, really put a ton into it to even be able to play as much as she played last year. Or, maybe she just said, hey, you know what? I've done all I need to do. I've done all I set out to do. Where did it go? The statement that she had, yesterday said, I promised I'd never cheat the game and I'd leave it in a better place than I came into it. And I think she certainly did that. So best wishes to Candace Parker, who's obviously got a flourishing media career, still very much ahead of her as she wishes to pursue that potentially.
The only player in WNBA history to win championships with 3 different teams. She was a member of the last 2 national championships at the University of Tennessee in 2007 and 2008 before heading off to her professional career. And as Doug Feinberg puts it, she won Olympic gold medals in 08 and 12 before shockingly being left off the 2016 team. So if there was something to be won in women's basketball, Candace Parker won it.
That's what I was getting. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you and Wade likes to do this, Wade, we would be here all day if you tried to read her wiki. If you just go to career highlights and awards, and we would be here literally all day just naming off the awards that she's won.
And I mean, obviously not even probably, I mean, it's mentioned on the Wikipedia, but not even under the career highlights section. I mean, what's everybody initially remember her for? The fact, at least I do, the fact that she threw down twice in the same game, becoming the first player ever to do so. Also the first woman ever to dunk in an NCAA tournament game. That's how she caught my attention early. And it was so fun watching her at Tennessee. And then obviously her professional career just continued to grow by leaps and bounds as well.
The second player to dunk in the WNBA behind Lisa Leslie.
She is phenomenal. And kind of reading a little more, she did recently just re-signed with Vegas to another 1-year deal and said that just her foot was not cooperating. So that kind of leads 10 surgeries over the course of her career. And every time it seems like you have one late in your career, right? You're just thinking, this is my last one. I'm never going to have another one. And then you just have to work that much harder just to get back. I do think she still could obviously have had a role on the team this year as that's the super sub, or even that, 7th or 8th woman off the bench, or 2nd or 3rd option off the bench, 7th or 8th woman overall. But she decided to hang it up, and she will be missed.
Without question, she will be missed. Let's take a break now here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia, ironically enough. And when we come back to the Lee Company studios, we will be joined by the VOT. Stay tuned.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Sunday Mirror continues here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia, as we look back over the weekend. Excuse me. I'm Maurice Patton. That's Chris Yao and Wade Neely. Yao in the cap, the white cap. You always struck me more of a black hat type of guy, but anyway.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Mo, Chris, Wade, and we are now joined by the longtime voice of the Tennessee Titans, Mike Keith. And Mike, while obviously we want to talk to you about the events of the weekend from a draft perspective, Wade took the time to make fun of my inconsistent voice right now when we had Chip Walters on last week, asking if he had any remedies. You being someone who uses your pipes for a living, what's your go-to when you've got issues such as I am currently dealing with?
Jack Daniels.
Same. I mean, look,
That's my remedy for basically everything.
Everything.
Is that a problem?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Granny's elixir is, I think, another name for it. The truth is, although there are some medicinal benefits and all of those fine different products that they sell.
I will tell you, 10-year Henry McKenna did not work last night. So,
well, fresh pineapple. My wife, Michelle, is a nurse, and she read in one of her medical journals once that fresh pineapple has an enzyme, or I was not good in science. She fortunately was. And so go to Kroger, go to the, get a, not out of a can, but
fresh.
Just produce. Yep.
Okay.
And it really does start to heal your throat. It's helped me many, many times. There's no doubt about it.
What about fresh pineapple soaked in Jack Daniels?
That'll heal you from anything.
There we go. Also, Mike, before we came to you, we were discussing Candace Parker's retirement. She's a UT alumnus. You're a UT alumnus. I'm sure you got thoughts.
Well, I mean, what do you say? I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest female basketball players in the history of the sport, one of the most accomplished in terms of all of her, I mean, her accolades. It would take, until tomorrow to name them all. It's crazy. She's a phenomenal broadcaster. I mean, really, really good. Just quite natural in any setting, and just fits so well. I mean, I think if that's what she wants to do full time, she's got a lot of potential to do a lot of things. And then the other thing too is, I mean, she's one of the great modern graduates of the University of Tennessee in terms of just the amount of respect and notoriety that she brings to the university. She's a beloved figure, like a Peyton Manning. I mean, she's right there with him, I think. And it's just an incredibly special thing for somebody who went to Tennessee to be able to say that's somebody else who went to Tennessee. So a pretty great thing. And I'm sorry she's having to get out now, but I get it. Father Time never loses. And being able to make the decision in the way that she has makes a lot of sense.
I'm sure you and Brad Willis will be surprising her here at some point in the not too distant future.
Yeah, she's got a couple things she has to meet in terms of the different requirements, in terms of how long she has to be out of the sport, things of that sort. So, yeah, I doubt she will be a second ballot. I'd say she will quite easily be a first ballot when it is her time.
Sounds good. How soon before JC Latham gets in?
JC and the rest of the rookies will be here at the end of next week. We have a couple days of mini camp for just rookies. They're in here the 9th. They'll do a lot of work the 10th and the 11th. They have a chance to leave for a while on Mother's Day, and then they come back and start with the rest of the team until our off-season program ends on June the 13th. So JC and Trevondre and everybody else will be ready to go.
How's your back?
It's okay. It's okay. I saw that and I thought, I wonder if that hurts. And so, as I had him do the same thing to me. What it really was, though, is he caused a little vertigo there. Coming down, I was a little dizzier than I thought I would be. I was quite a bit dizzier than I was when I used to get hit 40 years ago. So
pulling some G's there, huh?
Yeah, he is a big individual. Incredibly impressive. I mean, speaking of accomplished, leaves home at 16 to go to IMG Academy, becomes an offensive lineman there, plays left tackle, goes to Alabama. Evan Neal's there at left tackle, so he moves to right. I mean, you're talking about a guy who has already done a lot of stuff and just turned 21 years old. And, I felt like, Mo, we would come away with one of the two tackles based on how it was going to play. I felt like it was going to be three quarterbacks. And then I thought Arizona would stay and pick Marvin Harrison, which they did. Mm-hmm. I felt like, just knowing a little bit about Jim Harbaugh and seeing what was out there, that the Chargers were going to take one of the offensive tackles there. Felt like Neighbors was going to go to the New York Giants, and that we would end up with the opportunity to take the other one. And they're both really talented guys. I don't see how we could have gone wrong. I wish Joe Alt the best, but we're excited about the guy we got and feel strongly that JC Latham's going to end up being a good player for a long time for the Tennessee Titans.
Mike, obviously getting Latham scratches that check or ticks off that box as far as getting a quality offensive lineman at the tackle position. A lot of conversation over the weekend about converting him from the right to the left. And I guess I'm curious, it sure seems like having Bill Callahan coaching him up, does that really make that process any different, that much easier, harder, worse, better? Or is that really a factor at all? Because this guy seems like he's got the goods to play on the left or the right.
That's exactly right. And I mean, Wade, the whole thing about Coach Callahan is he signed off on this guy. That you don't draft this player and Bill Callahan not really, really want him. So with that being the case, and they come out and say he's going to play left tackle, that's because Bill Callahan says he's going to play left tackle. I don't know a lot, but I know when you've got somebody who is that kind of expert, I have zero interest in doubting them. Why? Bill Callahan is one of the best. I've been around 3 absolutely fabulous offensive line coaches. Philip Fulmer at Tennessee, Mike Munchak here, and now Bill Callahan. And with those people, when you have those people coaching the offensive line, you just don't ever question it. You just say, this is how it's going to be. This is why we want it to look this way. And this is what we're going to do. And if he says he's playing left tackle, he's playing left tackle, and it'll be just fine.
Because he said so.
Because he said so. Because he's
right.
Bill Callahan. You know, and how many people in life can you say that about with anything? I mean, it'd be like Chet Atkins with playing guitar.
Right.
I mean, you know, I'm just like, okay.
He is the Band-Aid / Kleenex of offensive line coaches.
Well, I mean, there's just so much that he sees in not only the physical talents, but the things that he can do with fundamentals. And the other part of this too, guys, he knows what his son's offense is going to require of offensive linemen. And I said this before the draft. I said, he also knows how the current offensive lineman may fit. And you got different people plugging different guys in at different spots, and we don't know what he's going to do. But what we do know is he feels like Lloyd Cushenberry was 100% the right center for this team, and that J.C. Latham is the left tackle. And I'm sure he feels like Peter Skoronski's pretty good too. So it'll work out okay. We'll be better in the offensive line.
Well, and you know, when you look at this draft, and you can go back a few years, and we've had some clunkers. This one feels really good on Monday morning. You feel like you got at least 3 guys who can step in and play day one, and you've got a couple other guys who you feel like can contribute throughout their careers. You know, what can you say about how excited Jeffrey Simmons was to see Trevondre Sweat?
Well, he knew that Sweat was going to be able to come in and provide something different for the defensive line. We took Sweat where we did because it was not a great defensive line draft after you got past like the first 4 or 5 guys. Had we waited until the 4th round, we would have gotten a vastly different player. We're going to count on Sweat to start. Latham's going to start. Gray, there's a pretty good chance he starts. So you got 3 guys right there who may be 3 of your first 22 on the field in week 1. That's a pretty good draft. And then you get Brownlee, who plays corner the way we want it played and fits what we're going to do at the corner position. So that's good depth. And then you move forward after that and you get Jackson from Tulane, and he's got a good chance to be your kick and punt returner, which means if he is, he'll be on your 48-man roster on game day, which is fantastic news. And that means he'll be your 5th receiver based on that fact. James Williams is really interesting to me because he was a 5-star coming out of high school. He's 6'4", he weighs 232. He played safety in college. He's not a safety in the NFL. The reason he lasted as long as he did is because he's going to have to be converted. But, man, with his skill set and his athleticism, he could end up being a really special player at linebacker, could be a special player on special teams right away. And then Jalen Harold rushed the passer very well for the national champion Michigan Wolverines. And you're like, okay, we need edge depth. Here's a guy who can rush the passer. If he can't help us every down to start with, that's okay. If he can help us in obvious passing situations, that would be a huge lift. So I think the solid nature of the class is what is really exciting for this team. It's not as spectacular as some years, but I do think it provides you with what you needed, and that was more building blocks, more foundational sort of push that this roster needs.
Mike, as the draft unfolded and the memes started rolling out, how quickly did your brain already gravitate toward thinking about a goal line potential package of Simmons and Sweat? And who catches the first touchdown between those two if they're both out there, or who runs the first touchdown if they're both two out there? I know that had to have at least entered your stream of consciousness at some point over the weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that do with the whole group, and Latham refers to himself as Trench King, and it's a pretty interesting group. There are a lot of personalities, and that's good for business. There's no doubt about it. I don't know what the goal line package is going to look like. I know Jeff looked pretty good when he ran the goal line package last year, and I hope we'll come up with something. I think this offense probably isn't going to need quite as many gimmicks as the one last year did.
Good point.
You certainly hope not. Yeah. Mike Keith, the voice of the Tennessee Titans, joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I don't know that you were necessarily surprised by any of the picks, but was there any particular pick over the 3 days that your eyebrows kind of went up like, I like that for us?
Yeah,
particularly.
Nothing like Michael Penix to the Falcons at 8, I'll tell you that.
Well, I said like.
I think the one that got me was Cedric Gray at number 106. I didn't think he'd be there. And then when the 4th round started, I didn't think anybody would let him get to us. And that's what to me was really exciting, because I think this guy can really play. Linebackers are not valued the way they once were. They're just not. You don't need as many of them as you once did, because linebackers come off the field in the sub packages. In most cases, at least one of the linebackers does. So to find a 3-down linebacker who can rush the passer, who can play the run, who can cover, I mean, he's got a lot of different skills. That's the one that probably got me the most excited from the standpoint of when the 4th round started. I was just like holding on. I was just thinking, I didn't know what would happen specifically in the 1st round. I didn't know what would happen specifically in the 2nd round. We got to the 4th round. In my mind, I'm thinking Cedric Gray. And then when he gets to us, it was really a fortunate thing.
Mike, I want to go back a second and talk a little bit more about James Williams, because my two co-hosts may or may not necessarily be of an age that they can appreciate the name I'm getting ready to mention. David Fulcher. Sounds a lot like that guy.
A lot like that guy, but that guy doesn't play safety anymore. He just doesn't, with all the multiple wide receiver packages that you see, and with teams being more throw first than they once did. The Steve Atwater, David Fulchers, you can
the
play
enforcers in the middle.
The enforcers. Well, that's exactly right. Now, what this guy can do is, could he cover the tight end? Yes. Could he blitz? Yes. Can you line him up in different ways closer to the line of scrimmage? Yes. And that's what this player is. This player, and I'm talking about a James Williams type, is a guy who's going to flourish playing less in space and more closer to the line of scrimmage, because his style, and unless he runs 4.65 and he's a really, really good athlete, it's no knock, but he's not going to be able to cover a receiver in the NFL consistently. A tight end, yes, as I said, but not a receiver. And so you're just saying to yourself, this guy is too good an athlete to not fit somewhere. But the reason he lasts as long as he does is because everyone's trying to take care of needs they know and not being able to see exactly what guys can become in systems. And that's what the challenge of all this is, and going to be the challenge for James Williams. But yeah, I mean, he's exactly like David Fulcher, and David Fulcher would have moved closer to the line of scrimmage in today's game.
Gotcha. Fellas?
Mike, I'm curious. As crazy as the NFL is, we hype up the draft for seemingly months and months, and then it happens, and then everybody immediately says, well, who are the Titans going to go and get in the undrafted free agent market? Is there any news or any chatter of anybody that could make a real impact in your mind that's still out there for this team?
Not yet, Wade, because where we are at this point is we're still waiting to see those guys get in here. And we've already had players who it's been reported they've agreed with one team and now they're with another team. This is just like recruiting until signing day.
Until you get them on campus, huh?
Until you get them on campus and you get them signed, they're not yours. And the other thing that we have to watch out for at this point is how many reports are saying so-and-so Smith is being signed by the Green Bay Packers when the reality is he's being brought in to try out during the rookie minicamp weekend. And every year with the Titans, we have at least one of those tryout players beat out a player who we initially signed. It happens. So nothing yet, nothing that substantial. We ended up with Anthony Ferkser 1 year from the rookie tryout or the rookie camp because veterans can actually come in and take part in that camp as well. Unsigned veterans can come in and show what they can do. So May 9 through 11 is going to be quite interesting.
Gotcha.
There's no doubt. Before we let you go, and Mo, this is kind of what we talked about yesterday. The 2025 mock drafts have the Titans trading up from 5 to 1. And I thought that was interesting. I don't think there's anybody in that organization or on this show who thinks the Titans will earn the 5th draft pick next season based on what we have right now. Thank
you for saying that, Chris.
I don't think there's any question, right?
I appreciate it more than you know, because I don't want to have the 5th pick. We've had a long year and a half as a football team, going 6-24, and it's not great. I don't recommend it.
It's not great for us.
We have to temper expectations, obviously, because everybody's excited. We don't know how it's all going to play out, but I do think we're going to be a better football team than last year because we've just added more talent. We're better on paper. We have better players. I used, what Mr. Adams used to say when they would tell him we're going to pick a guy in the draft. Mr. Adams' question was always, is he good? And which is the best.
And the answer to that hasn't always been yes.
It hasn't, but in most cases it is, or you think it's going to be. And that's the most important factor is you need better. When you're not converting third downs and when you're not scoring touchdowns in the red zone and when you can't get off the field on third downs, it's not scheme. Because these are good coaches. It's not what the players are being taught. It's not how hard they're trying. You're not good enough. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, you're just not good enough. And we're better. We won 6 games last year and lost 7 games by 1 score. So we're a better football team. And if we can show that, then maybe we can be the Texans of 2024 and come out of nowhere to win the division. Why not? That would certainly be our goal. But do I think we're picking 5th next year? No. But at the same time, when you're coming off a 6-win season and you change coaches, it doesn't do any good to argue. It doesn't do any – We've got to go prove it.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Mike Keith, the voice of the Tennessee Titans, joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Mike, we appreciate your time. Get you some rest. I know you're getting ready to probably take some time off here for a little bit, but thank you again for joining us for a little bit, and we hope to catch up with you again soon.
Thanks for having me, guys. Take care.
All righty. Hey, when we come back here on Main Street Sports today, coming back to the Lee Company studios for MON-STARS.
Iffy whiffy.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Welcome to the MON-STARS portion of the Monday update. Sorry, yeah. So, yeah,
The
Monday Mirror. I'm sorry, the Monday Mirror here on.
I didn't know
Main
what you were
Street
asking.
Yeah. It's the Monday Mirror here on Main Street Sports today, and it's time for MON-STARS as Chris, Wade, and I give you our top individual performers from the weekend, and I will let y'all lead it off.
All right, there ain't no way to get around this. And I did it last week, and I got to do it again. You just sometimes got to pay the piper and give the devil his due. MON-STARS shout out begrudgingly. Brock Boser, Vancouver Canucks, scores 3 goals yesterday, including 2 goals in the final 3 minutes of regulation. He finishes with a hat trick, which sends the game to overtime. That's all I got to say about that. But Brock Boser is my first MON-STAR. There, I've done it. I've ripped the Band-Aid off. So
There you go.
everything else, hopefully from here on out, should be on a more positive note after that. We acknowledge the bad.
Mr. Yao?
I will go to the United Football League. Arlington did not have a great game on Sunday, but as a team, J.P. Payton, however, wide receiver, caught 7 of 9 targets for 119 yards and a touchdown, including getting 40 yards after the catch, helping Luis Perez to 270 on the day. And Luis Perez leads the league in passing. They just can't put it in the end zone. For whatever reason, they lose 25-15 to the Brahmas. Wade Phillips has got a pretty good little squad down there in the Alamo Dome. So J.P. Payton, 7 for 119 and a touchdown.
That'll play in any league.
Yeah, absolutely. Just got to do a little more.
Yeah.
The rest of the team. Y'all lost.
I didn't.
Y'all lost.
Yeah. Y'all know I like to go from preps to pros. That's what we do here on Main Street Sports today. So, after taking a 1-0 lead in their best of 3 opening round series of the D2A District 3 postseason tournament against USN, Columbia Academy got a 7-inning, 108-pitch, 11 strikeout performance from Jackson Lee in a 7-3 clinching win on Friday against USN. Lee gave up 4 hits, 3 earned runs, issued 4 walks, but again, 11 strikeouts, went the distance on 108 pitches, got some offensive support as CA took the next step, or took the first step in postseason play with a sweep of USN. Sorry, Willie. Wade, number 2.
Up next, hey, you know what? You got to take the good when you can get the good. How about my boy Jordan Alvarez this weekend?
He was good.
He balled out, and Houston's been struggling, has been well documented on this show. But on Saturday, it was in Mexico City where it's like 2 miles above sea level. But, I mean, forget all that. Alvarez hit 2 out of the yard. He goes 3 for 5. And really, really kind of got Houston back on some firm offensive footing. So much so, those 2 home runs, fellas, they were both measured. This is crazy. Both of them were measured at exactly 461 feet. He becomes the 3rd player in the MLB since 2006 to hit multiple 460-foot homers because, of course, that's a stat. He joins Mike Napoli and Byron Buxton in 2013 and 2023. And as I joked with you guys on Saturday, I think he hit that second one so high and so far that it was on the verge of needing a passport to cross back in to the United States because he clobbered that one. So Alvarez gets Astros back on. He's my second MON-STAR.
All right. 38 plays is how many the Minnesota Myth ran on Saturday night at Municipal Auditorium. 74 yards is what they gained on those 38 plays. So the Nashville Cats defense in arena football absolutely smothering the Minnesota Myth. So for their efforts, the entire Nashville Cats defense will get my MON-STAR award.
That's pretty MON-STAR-us. That's less than 2 yards of play.
That's fewer than 2 yards.
I didn't even know that was possible. In the arena league.
Exactly.
In the arena league, exactly. Yeah.
41-0 at one point. So
wow. MTSU number 8 hitter Brett Von Dolan.
Okay.
We'll double check with Chip on the correct pronunciation on that tomorrow. But whatever you call him power hitter because he had 3 home runs in Friday's 16-9 victory over Western, which is always a good thing. 2 of those were grand slams. Finished with 10 ribs in that 16-9 victory. Coming out of the number 8 hole. You'll take that.
Golly. Yeah,
You'll take that.
power for days.
Yeah.
Big shout out there. Real quickly, speaking of my final MON-STAR, shout out Lily Ernest, who is a former Franklin High School standout. She earned Southern State's Athletic Conference Player of the Week honors down at UT Southern. Always good to beat your rival. And in UT Southern sweep versus Bethel over the weekend, she hit 500, slugging 1.500, smacking a grand slam and 7 RBIs in the win as UT Southern knocked off Bethel 13-1. So Lily Ernest is my final MON-STAR as UT Southern caps the regular season and now gets ready for conference tournament play coming up, I believe, this weekend.
Mo, if you don't mind going, I've got to go get this kid's name.
Oh, sure.
If you don't mind going, I've got to go get this kid's name because that just reminded me of something that happened over the weekend, and I want to give him a shout out. So go ahead.
Absolutely. Brave second baseman Ozzie Albies reactivated off of the injured list, had a hit, at least a hit, in each of the Braves' 3 games against Cleveland, going 5 for 13 for the series. That's 385. Scored a pair of runs, drove in a pair of runs, had a couple of doubles, and the Braves go 2 of 3 against the Guardians. We'll be talking more about that in the next segment here as we open the second hour. But Chris, did I stall long enough?
No, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. I feel really bad about not being able to grab this name off the top because
grab it over the break and we'll.
All right, that'll work.
Yeah.
Grab it over the break. We will go ahead and go to a break. When we come back, we will finish up MON-STARS and talk a little Braves and a little Major League Baseball here in the Lee Company studios on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Stay with us for hour number 2.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
April 19th, 2017, Matt Kemp drives in 5 runs on a 3-run homer and a pair of solo shots. Dansby Swanson adds a 2-run bomb, and Tyler Flowers goes 4 for 5 in the Braves' 11-3 comeback victory at Milwaukee. Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis each matched Kemp's 3-hit day as Atlanta racked up 20 knocks against 4 Brewers pitchers. Jaime Garcia walked 5 in 6 innings but gave up just 3 hits and earned the win. That was this day in Braves history.
Now, all the random names, Tyler Flowers and
that's the one that caught my eye, yeah.
And just, every random Brave you could think of. Jaime Garcia.
Yep. Yeah. It was definitely a who kind of day for the Braves on April 29th, 2017 up at Miller Park. Now, as I asked you before the break, did we stall long enough? Yeah.
We did, in fact. So in game 3 of the Class 7A state playoffs this weekend, the Thompson Warriors needed 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th to send their game into the extra innings. And in the bottom of the 9th, after Spain Park put 3 on the board in the top of the 9th, Alabama signing Mikael Holden walked to the plate with the bases loaded and hit it over the 355 sign all the way to the indoor facility about 400 feet to give his team a walk-off 13-12 win and send this team to the next round of the state playoffs. Mikael Holden with an absolute bomb in the bottom of the 9th. This is the moment you dream about, like forever. And to be able to send his team to the second round of the state playoffs is pretty incredible. Quarterfinals in Class 7A because it's weird.
Because there's only like 32 teams in 7A, right?
Clutch hitting all around in that.
Dude, yeah, 3 to score 3 in the bottom of the 7th.
To tie it.
And score 3 in the bottom of the 7th, give up 3 in the top of the 9th, and then boom. It's crazy. What a crazy, crazy game it must have been.
Very Atlanta Braves like.
Very, yes.
Yeah, because there is a phrase that I've been typing a lot here over the first month. Late offense.
Late offense.
And they wrote it, well, they picked up insurance runs to kind of close out the 6-2 win on Friday. They forced extra innings with some late offense before falling 4-2 on Saturday. But they scored late and finished off a 4-3, 11 in a 10-inning game yesterday. So Austin Riley, clutch late for the Braves in that one.
Needed it.
Yeah. They needed it. He needed it. Everybody needed it. Braves, best record in Major League Baseball. I mean, I don't necessarily pay attention to standings this time of year, but I do pay attention to records. And the Braves are what, 19-7?
Yeah, they actually they're 19-7, a game and a half up on Philadelphia, who also has won 19 games, but have lost 3 more because they've played 3 more.
Right.
So, yeah.
Hey, well, I mean, the Braves, there was one game that they didn't get to play in Philly, right? One in Philly, one in New York.
One in
one
Chicago.
in Chicago. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. I tweeted over the weekend, your team's not playing 700 baseball. Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me. Yeah.
You know who it could be? Could be Wade. That's unfortunate. But it's okay.
I do
There's
hate
other
that
teams
for
you can
Wade.
pick on than Houston.
Well,
I do hate that for Wade, but I mean, they did win their last two.
They did.
Yeah, they've won 2 in a row, bro.
Hey, one more, and that's a streak.
That's a winning streak. And guess what? They get Cleveland. So time to really kick things up a notch.
Kind of as you drew it up over the weekend, Wade. They get a pissed off Cleveland after dropping 2 of 3 in Atlanta. So,
well, this Cleveland team is so much like the 2022 Mets, where they just hit it. If they get a bat on it, it's going to fall. So you just have to figure out how to not make mistakes. That's it.
Well, that doesn't
the way
well
they
for
won
Houston.
the way they won that game Saturday night without a ball leaving the infield was really nauseating.
Absolutely.
But
that's exactly what happened. When we, before the September series with the Mets, every time we played them in 2022, they would just hit. Luis Guillermo would hit pop-ups 157 feet, 3 feet past the reach of Ozzie or whatever, and that's just how it would. That's how they won. And the Guardians have figured that, you don't have to hit it hard to win. Apparently,
hit it where they ain't.
There you go.
Or where they can't do anything with it if they are. So yeah,
right. And you would assume they would prefer not to have to skate by when they do have those little runs like that. You prefer to make better contact, but hey, sometimes it's just, as we like to say, just good clean living every now and again.
There you go.
Absolutely. As Wade mentioned during the rundown, get you a nap because the Braves are out on the West Coast for their next 6, starting with 3 at Seattle over the next 3 days. 8:40 first pitch tonight here local time. As Max Fried, coming off of his Maddox in his last outing, got that ERA down from 7.71 to 4.97, almost 3-4 runs with that shutout effort. 2-0, going against Bryce Miller of Mount Pleasant, Texas, not Bryce Miller of Linville, Tennessee. But
yeah, 2 different Bryce Millers.
Two completely different Bryce Millers.
Classic mix-up.
And it usually gets me every time. I'm like, that guy. Oh, but this Bryce Miller is from Mount Pleasant, Texas.
Yeah. I don't think Matt S is letting that Bryce Miller go, by the way. But
no.
This Bryce Miller 3-2 with a 2.22 ERA for the Mariners. So should be a good one late tonight. Get your shutout. Again, though, Houston 12-4 and 8-2 over the weekend against Colorado. And I know it's Colorado, but beggars can't be choosy, right, Wade?
No, not at all. And if you want to really get excited, you can say, hey, well, this was played in mile high like conditions. So in a way, it was a pseudo, even though Houston was technically the home team, it was a pseudo home atmosphere, at least for the Rockies, and they couldn't get it done. So yeah, a couple decent wins. Kind of keep the mojo rolling. If you're looking for some other tea leaves, and now maybe Atlanta does Houston a favor and knocks the first place Mariners down a peg or two in these next couple of games. But one of the hottest teams in that division, it's going to sound crazy, but the A's have won 12 games already this year. I think their preseason win total was somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 or 52 or 53. So they are playing some pretty good baseball at the moment. And Houston's only 6 games back, so chance to do some damage versus the Guardians. If they got their swagger back from this weekend, and if they can somehow win a couple versus Cleveland, maybe this is the proverbial turning of the corner here for these Astros.
You mentioned the Athletics, and I think the biggest question about that team right now, I hesitate to refer to them by the city that they play in, but
yeah,
the
Athletic Baseball Club, ABC.
I like it. I like that. I like that. How long will Mason Miller be wearing green and gold?
I mean, if they keep, well, I was going to say if they keep playing like this, he may not. But if they keep playing like this, he will end up getting out because the Athletics don't seem to want to have players who are good on their teams.
Ruiz is back up, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I mean, the Braves need a front end starter, and they seem to like to deal with us because we give them decent stuff in return.
I don't know if the Braves can make it. I don't know if the Athletics will make another trade with the Braves.
I think they like what they've gotten from the Braves for the most part, outside of, outside of the kid that ended up at Philadelphia.
Oh, Christian Pache.
Yeah, outside of Pache, I mean, everything else that we've sent over there, they've been using him kind of like. So I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. Miller, the 97th overall pick in the 2021 draft out of Gardner-Webb. 6'5", 220.
Gardner-Webb Bulldogs?
That is correct. Good pull by you, my friend.
Yeah. Has been blowing folks away. I think he was pretty key late in their wins against the Yankees last week. He's got we've got 4 saves this year, I believe. No, he's got 7 saves this year. 1.46 ERA, 25 strikeouts in 12 and a third innings. And he is slowly but surely making the Athletics must-see TV, I think. So keep an eye on him. And like I said, let's see how long he is in an ABC uniform. I like that. That's going to catch on. Miami dropped a 12-9 come from ahead defeat to Washington yesterday. No fault of Ryan Weathers, I don't think, really. He didn't figure into the decision. Gave up 6 earned runs over 4 innings, struck out 3. But I think the damage was really done after he left the game. So hate to see that, but just get to your next start, Ryan.
Yep. Yeah, he's pitched pretty well thus far. And so as long as he keeps going, and like we've said, he'll get some all-star chatter as
as bad as that team is. I mean, I just don't think you can lay whatever is or isn't going on with them at his feet. So
no. Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 of their wins, 2 out of 6 or 7 as of last count. So
2 out of 6. Yeah, they are
That's
6
crazy.
and 23. God. I mean, it's not White Sox bad. Well, I take that back. The White Sox have gotten hot since we last talked about them. They're 6 and 22.
They swept this weekend?
Apparently.
Because they had 3 wins going into Friday, so they won Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Boy, how bad? Whoever they played.
Who were they playing?
That is no good.
Tampa Bay.
Good Lord.
Or Tampa.
Well, again, Tampa, the Braves. Who else have they beat?
Guardians.
The Guardians.
And the Royals.
Yeah.
In Kansas City. Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go.
One last note before we get out of this segment. Again, come on Main Street Sports today and good things happen. The Sounds Isaac Collins is this week's International League Player of the Week.
How about that, Isaac?
There we go.
Went 9 for 22 in that series against Louisville with 6 extra base hits. 3 of those being home runs, scored 7 runs. I think the Sounds won 2 of 6 in Louisville. Is that right?
They only won Friday and Sunday?
I believe so. Yeah, that's definitely.
There you go.
Yeah, so but yeah, Isaac Collins right in the middle of all of it for them. High rising Brewers farmhand, this week's International League Player of the Week. So the Sounds return home to take on who Who do they have?
Norfolk, right?
Yeah, Norfolk with
exactly.
Matt Jackson.
Yeah.
With Jackson Holiday.
Jackson Holiday, Matt Jackson. What?
Close.
Matt Holiday, Jackson. That's how I got Matt Jackson.
Yep.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
What's scary is I'm really learning how your brain is working, and I saw it. I saw it go in that direction.
You could click it. Okay, I see where he got there. It's crazy wrong, but I see how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
when
we
your
come
work
back
is right, but the answer's wrong.
Hey, yeah, show your work. When we come back to the Lee Company Studios here on Main Street Sports today, presented by TOAF Columbia. Speaking of painful, we've got Ann Kimmel of Penalty Box Radio joining us to talk about just how much longer we're going to have to put up with the Preds. Stay tuned. Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Work continues here on Main Street Sports today, presented by TOA of Columbia. And Chris Wade and I are going to take a look back at an incident that we may not really want to. Okay, we don't want to take a look back at, but we owe it to y'all to do so. And to help us do so, we have Ann Kimmel of Penalty Box Radio joining us. Ann, are the Canucks going to put Preds fans out of their misery tomorrow night, or is this the type game that the Preds win?
That's the question I think everybody is wondering about. It is tough to see a scenario or to feel a scenario where the Predators come back and bring this game back to Nashville and take it to, 6 games, 7 games. It feels tough to believe that can happen after what we saw last night in Bridgestone Arena. But I would say, if I'm answering you with my head, not my heart, there's a chance Nashville can win on the road. They've done it before in this series. They like most of their game against Vancouver. And I think this is one of those series where one bounce in your favor may swing a game. I'm not ruling the Predators out, but I'm telling you, it just does not feel great right now.
Well, and part of the reason it doesn't feel great is because you just lost to their third string goalkeeper.
Yeah, here's what I would say about that. First of all, their third string goaltender is not too shabby. He was absolutely phenomenal in the Worlds for Latvia. He has been really great in high pressure situations. Yes, this was his first playoff game, but he was ready for it. The other thing I would say is that Vancouver didn't get to the playoffs because of just goaltending. And part of Nashville's problem this whole series has been getting through the defense and getting to that net front, no matter who was in net. So I'm not sure that the Predators lost last night because they couldn't beat the third string goaltender. I think the Predators beat themselves last night.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about, guys. And the Canucks have won 3 games in this series with 3 different netminders.
Yeah. They have. And I think that speaks not only to their goaltending depth, but I think really the point you have to take away from that is that this is a very well-rounded Vancouver Canucks team, and they are big and they own the space in front of the net. So it's not necessarily that their netminders are all playing out of their mind. Now, look, Thatcher Demko just announced today as a Vezina finalist. He's been phenomenal. Casey DeSmith did exactly what they needed him to do. Artur Shilovs last night did what they needed them to do. But I think a lot of the credit has to go to Vancouver for keeping Nashville away from that quality ice that they really need to get to if they want to put pressure on whoever is in net.
And as we watched the game yesterday, this is a semi-loaded question, but which is more frustrating as a Predators fan, the missed empty netter by the narrowest of margins, or seeing Vancouver tie it up with 6 seconds left, making two goals with an empty net situation? Which one of those kind of sunk us more, or sunk you more in your mind at least?
Both are excruciating, no doubt. But I do think if Colton Sissons makes that empty net goal, it becomes a 4-1 game. And a 4-1 game is a different ballpark to come back from. You had to be a little bit concerned when they tied it up 3-2 with less than 3 minutes to play, because you know what Vancouver can do. They've got great offensive weapons. And all it took was a quick defensive breakdown. And here is what is most frustrating to me when it comes to those late goals is that the guys on the ice for Nashville were your veterans. You had Roman Josi on the ice, Ryan McDonough, you had Gus Nyquist, Philip Forsberg. You had your best players on the ice, and you still had such a huge defensive breakdown that UC Saros was left hung out to dry. So for me, I think if Colton Sissons makes that empty net goal, this game is done. The series is tied up, and everything looks very different this morning. But when that doesn't happen, you have to find a way to win with a 2-goal lead. And in this series, a 2-goal lead should be enough to win a game, because I don't think this is a series that's going to blow wide open, even in game 5, with as frustrated as Nashville probably is right now. A 2-goal lead should have won the Predators that game.
Yeah, and you mentioned Nyquist in particular. It was so frustrating and excruciating, to use your term there, at the very end. I see where he's going. He's going for that one last poke that would have got it out of the zone to essentially clear the game and end the game. And he comes up short. And now all of a sudden, instead of 6-on-5, Vancouver is essentially faced with a 6-on-4. And just seeing him out of position late at the end of the game, my heart kind of sank. And the inevitable eventually happened as they get that late equalizer to force overtime.
Yeah, and it was one of those, quick in the moment judgment calls. And like you said, you know exactly what Gus Nyquist is going for. It's not like he's not paying attention, but just reading that split second moment wrong really changed everything in that play. The other thing that you saw in that last second play is the way that Vancouver was cycling. It kind of pulled Ryan O'Reilly and it pulled Philip Forsberg up and out of the play. And so you really ended up with a lot more Vancouver Canucks around UC Saros than what you wanted defensively. And that's all it took for Vancouver. They're probably a team that's going to make those plays, especially when you've got somebody like Brock Besser. Games are won in the playoffs by your best players. Brock Besser showed up and he was their best player. Nashville was still waiting for Yossi, for Forsberg, for Ryan O'Reilly, for Gus Nyquist to show up and be the best player. And I think that's what has to happen in Game 5. Nashville's best players have to show up and they have to be huge difference makers, just like Brock Besser was.
You know what I would like to see show up? The power play. Because it's putrid.
It is
putrid.
So bad. So bad. The beginning of the season, Andrew Burnett kind of joked. We asked him like, hey, who is in charge of the power play with this new coaching structure and who you've brought on and stuff? And he said, well, I am, unless it sucks. And then it's somebody else's. Well, I don't know who's in charge now, but it sucks. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. It's so bad. And again, in a series like this is a series that's going to be won by a goal or two. You get that power play goal, in the game last night. Again, Nashville walks out, series tied up. It is a completely different playoff series. The power play has been horrible. And, they've talked about we need to skate more. We need to move the puck faster. But you got to execute it. You can't just chat about it. And that's what we've seen, unfortunately.
And Kimmel of Penalty Box Radio joining us here on Main Street Sports today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. And obviously, the reality of sports is every game you take in a vacuum, I guess, and each game stands on its own. But you're sitting here 3-1, you're going back to Vancouver, you've just gotten swept at your house. What is it that you tell Preds fans who are looking for something to hang their hats on going into tomorrow night?
I think what you hang your hat on is the fact that Nashville has played well enough to win some of these games. Now, doesn't count when it comes to whether you move on in the playoffs or not, but Nashville really likes their game. And here's what's interesting. We sat in with Rick Tocchet, the Vancouver head coach, for his press conference after the game. Rick Tocchet really likes Nashville's game. Nashville has really frustrated some of the
things he does.
He wants to do. In the sense that they feel like they're being challenged by Nashville. They really feel like Nashville has limited some of what they want to do as well. So there's a lot of mutual respect, I think, between the coaching staffs for how well prepared these teams are. Nashville is doing a lot of the right things. And when we heard from Andrew Burnett last night, he said, look, the gut reaction is change everything, put in a different goaltender, change your lineup, make drastic moves when you lose in that fashion. But the truth is Nashville likes their game. They like the way their game has been stacking up against Vancouver. They just got to close it out. So I don't think there's any big drastic moves that have to happen for Nashville, but they have to be able to close the game out.
Yeah, that would be ideal. I mean, what though is the key to closing the game out? I mean, clearly UC Saros had a fantastic game. Like you said, the thing about Vancouver is it's not their goaltending that's great. Their forwards are fantastic. They have they have great forwards, and that's why they win playoff games, and that's why they can withstand their third string goalie being, on the ice and giving up 3 goals. But how does this team figure that out in Game 5? Because listen, we got to come back to Nashville anyway. Might as well bring them with us.
Yeah, this is one of those questions where tactically there's an answer to that question. Like, what does Nashville have to do? They've got to clean up miscommunications in defensive coverage. They've got to find ways to get to the inside. So there are tactical answers, but I also think there is a little bit of mental fortitude that the Predators have absolutely got to find. And when I tell you that locker room after last night's game was rough, it was rough. Like this was a team that was very unhappy, disgusted, frustrated, agitated, and they should be. But they don't have a lot of time to do much with that. Andrew Burnett talks about you have to have an etch-a-sketch memory. You got to shake this one off. Can the Predators do the mental work to shake off that game and get back on the ice in Vancouver tomorrow night and execute and clean up just a couple of things? And I think really game 5 is going to be a lot about that kind of mental fortitude. How are they going to do that? You've got some veterans that have been through this before. Andrew Burnett says, hey, these young kids, they're so hungry. They just want to get back out on the ice right now. So I don't know that he is concerned about that, but I think Nashville Predators fans are. How do you bounce back after absolutely collapsing like that? And I think the game tomorrow night is going to be a lot about mental fortitude as much as it's going to be about like in-game tactical corrections.
And what's really kind of odd, maybe, I'm not sure if that's the right word for it or not, but coming into this season, I don't know that anybody necessarily saw the Predators as a playoff team, and yet the overwhelming majority of this fan base right now is really irritated with this team. There's a statement to be made there, though, right? I mean, because the expectations weren't this for this team. If you can step back and take the long view of this team, they've done some pretty good things, even though they've not looked great in this series.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's hard to take the big picture view the morning after. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we're all suffering with that collapse hangover. But I agree with you. You have to remember this is a Predators team that really was not even supposed to
Has
be
no
in any
business
sort of-
being here.
Yeah, they had no business being in the postseason conversation. They made it. It's not like they squeaked in. They had the first wild card spot in this postseason. So they proved themselves. I will say that I think this postseason, however it ends, whenever it ends, has been very valuable for the Predators because I think it gives Barry Trotz a very clear idea of where are the holes if we want to make a deep playoff run. I think Nashville is seeing like, hey, you know what? We've got to be deeper at forward. We've got to get some better centers down deep that can play maybe better playoff hockey. Maybe they need to add some more size in the defense. So I think that big picture, you have to like what Nashville has done this entire season with what they've had and with what expectations were. But it's very, very hard to feel that way the morning after such a collapse.
And as we get ready for a super quick turnaround, as you just mentioned, to me, I would naturally assume that it kind of leads to a sloppy game tomorrow night as both teams are kind of trying to scramble and to find their legs after such a quick turnaround. What are you anticipating coming into tomorrow night for, I guess, maybe just overall quality of play in this contest?
I think you are going to start seeing some wear and tear on these teams. This has been a really physical series. There's been a lot of big hits. Also, the travel, 2,500 miles these guys are traveling to turn around. They left this morning. They'll practice this afternoon in Vancouver, game tomorrow night. This is a tough stretch. So I do think that you're probably going to see the game slow down maybe a little bit. You're going to start to see some wear and tear on both teams. We'll see how Nashville responds. Vancouver is going to want to close it out at home in front of their home crowd. They have a great home crowd in Vancouver, but Nashville has something that they absolutely have to prove. So I think it's going to be really who can gut out the win. I think this is just going to be a gut check game tomorrow night because they are going to be tired. They're going to be sore. They're going to be jet lagged.
Does that help Nashville though with if the game is slower and more physical, Nashville seems to benefit from that.
Yeah, I think so. I really do think that probably gives Nashville a little bit of an edge. They really have done a good job, especially you look at Quinn Hughes has just taken an absolute beating. Nashville has really done a good job of neutralizing him. They have played a physical game. It's something that they're very used to playing all season long. I'm not sure Vancouver has had to play that physical through the regular season like Nashville has to get wins. So I do think there may be a little bit of an advantage for Nashville. But again, Vancouver, they are going to want to close this out. They're going to want this series to end as quickly as possible because they're going to have to recover for the second round, and they're going to want as much time as they can.
Well, we're not going to give them any time. Coming back
I agree.
to Nashville and then going to go back up there and get 1-2. So,
well,
There you
your
go.
lips to God's ears, friend. Let's see what they can do.
I don't even know if I would want the Predators to win the stinking series. I mean, at this point, I don't even know. Can our
there's
hearts take
only
it?
so many Tums in the cupboard. You know what I'm saying?
That's
At
right.
some point.
That's
There
right.
we go. And Kimmel of Penalty Box Radio, and we appreciate your time and look forward to speaking to you again under better circumstances.
Let's hope.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, thank you, ma'am.
Thanks so much, guys.
All
Thanks,
right.
man.
Hey, when we come back to the Lee Company Studios here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia, it's the grab bag. We need to tie up some loose ends from the weekend. We will do that when we come back. Stay with us. I'm Maurice Patton, and on Main Street Sports Today, we bring you the voices of your favorite teams from preps to pros. Otherwise known as the VOT, Mike Keith.
The bottom line is we can teach Will Levis woke.
I just don't know who's going to work with you on your base stealing now that EY is gone.
Well, that has nowhere to go but up. And I was just like, oh, guys, not again. Can we just bury that, burn that footage, and not bring it back?
No. No.
Thank you. We'll keep it going past the All-Star break, and looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out. There's always a good story to tell.
Can you guess where I am today, Mo? Where am I?
It's
Reese
not
Smith
Reese
Field?
Smith Field, is it?
Yeah.
Because anytime you play Chicago, you want to win. That's just
you got that right. And
that's bottom line.
be a buzz.
When you're walking the dog, you keep the bags that you need for the dog in the bag, and you don't even have to wear it. You can just hold it, which is what I do when I walk the dog. So
I think the fanny pack probably needed a little rebranding.
It did. It really did.
On your show logo, we've got to get a puck in there. There's a basketball. There's a football. There's a baseball. Maybe if not a puck, how about Mo brandishes a hockey stick?
Tune in daily at 2 p.m. on Main Street Media TV.
The grab bag here on the Monday Mirror edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia. Obviously, a lot of talk this weekend about the Tennessee Titans draft, but shout out to Middle Tennessee high school football. We had 3 guys go in the draft this week. Ravenwood with a couple of them. Graham Barton going to Tampa Bay, the former Ravenwood offensive lineman who played collegiately at Duke and will battle for the starting position for the Bucks. He'll be snapping it to one of Wade's favorite signal callers, Baker Mayfield. Also, former Ravenwood teammate Junior Colson will stay with his collegiate coach, taken by the Chargers at number 69 overall. Barton went 26, so he went on Thursday night. Junior Colson went number 69 in the 3rd round to the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. And then between those two, former Cane Ridge receiver A.D. Mitchell goes to the Indianapolis Colts at number 52 overall.
Did you see how mad he was about that too, by the way?
No, I did not see a single pick.
He was as disappointed
in
as
going
I've
to the
ever
Colts.
seen a single person being drafted in the National Football League. Like, somebody was sitting next to him and like raised his arm, and he was just like you could tell it was the one place that he did not want to go. You could tell
I can understand that.
He's a Nashvilleian. He grew up a Titans fan. You obviously, he was distraught, and I felt so bad for him.
32 teams, and I got to go to these.
This is where I got to go.
Yeah. Also, former Blue Devil Zion Logue of Lebanon, also former Georgia teammate of Mitchell's, goes to the Falcons at 197 overall in the 6th round. I think Zion Logue was probably received a little bit better than the always catching strays, Michael Penix. So, yeah, congratulations to those guys, man.
Penix, born in Cookville, so we can slightly rope him in this if we wanted to.
There we go. Penix's dad, I much as I hate to acknowledge it for the obvious reasons, but Penix's dad was pretty beast-like at Tennessee Tech. So, yeah. So, kind of congratulations to Michael as well. But yeah, again, Cane Ridge, Ravenwood, Lebanon, putting guys in the league. Congrats, and look forward to the next bunch. We may see some guys sign some UDFAs, but as Mike Keith was warning us, until those guys actually get into camp, just be wary of what you hear as far as that goes. Chris, you mentioned the Cats. You went to that.
I did not, but I did watch it. I did not, but I did not get to go, but I did watch it.
Oh, you did not get to go. How did you watch it? How did they?
That's what I was wondering. He explained it to me somehow.
There was a live stream available on some link that I don't. It was in the AFL forum chat, and I clicked on it, and so that's what I saw.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea where it was. I just watched it.
He told me that, and I for sure thought that somebody was Facebook Living.
Yeah, it was
kind of black market.
Well, it's basically what it is, because Nashville, the municipal, is not set up well for video anyway.
Okay.
I mean, Eli Gold and Pete Weber were just sitting in the crowd. Like they were just sitting in a marked off spot.
So they just gave them tickets, huh?
So they were just kind of sitting there. But yeah, it was basically like
Thank goodness for wireless headsets.
Right.
Hey,
there was no score bug on this thing. It was just like it was as if someone was using StreamYard to.
Real quick, that reminds.
Hang on a minute. So this wasn't even NFHS then, is what you're telling me?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Go ahead. They got some work to do, but you just mentioned Eli, and we talked about Pete was going to be involved. That reminded me, as I was leaving Bridgestone Friday night after the Preds lost, which happened a couple times this weekend in that building. I'm leaving the concourse, and there's a gentleman walking in front of me with a Preds jersey that says Pranica on the back. And this gentleman stops to turn. It's our good friend of the show, Pete Pranica. And so I stop and I catch up with Pete, and I asked, he is a Preds fan.
Wow.
We talk a lot on this show about the Memphis-Nashville kind of rivalry of sorts, but Pete is all in on the Preds. And he was there not only to cheer on the Preds, but he was there to he informed me that he and Pete are friends from back there. They're the Fighting Irish Brotherhood from back in the Notre days, he says. So I was wondering, I didn't ask him this, but I'm wondering if he was potentially in the crowd as well, because as not great as that situation seems like, imagine if you got Pete there as well. It's like, well, that's one way to engineer. If you got three really good play-by-play voices all there together, I would imagine you at least made it work somehow, right?
That would have been fun. No, I was having to listen on an app and watch on the. I promise you, it was not an official thing. I just saw a link because I couldn't go, and so I was like, well, I'm going to watch it this way, and that's what I did. And I was also watching the Birmingham Stallions just absolutely, literally run wild.
You did a lot of work to watch arena football.
Well, I did it because I was curious. I was curious about the Cats organization. I knew that they were going to be a really good team. I really felt like they were. There was also if you wanted to watch something exciting, Albany and Orlando. I think the final score was like 52-49. It was an absolute barn burner.
Are they still the Predators?
The Orlando Predators and Albany Firebirds, and it was a fantastic game. I think those three teams right now are the class of the league, not surprisingly. The rest of them, iffy at best. Philadelphia actually played they did play the game in Louisiana, but but the players
with Louisiana players, right?
The players playing on Philadelphia's team were allegedly a semi-pro indoor team from somewhere in East Texas. Okay. And one of them was, just by sight, a literal child. I'm telling you, this player was probably 5'6", 5'7", 115 pounds soaking wet, Wade. I mean, we saw the video.
And I was subjected to all this. Be glad you're in the Lee Company mobile studios today, Mo, because I was subjected to this video earlier today, and it did look like an NAI junior varsity football player, just in terms of size and stature. You are correct.
Gracious. Yeah.
Now, here's the good thing. If you want to watch the Cats this weekend in Albany, you can do so, and it will be on NFL Network. Okay. Much different than the whatever I was watching on Saturday night.
You were at the corners of the dark web trying to find a stream.
Yeah, he was right there on the cusp of the dark web.
You're going to need to run at least 6 antivirus scans on that computer if that's the computer you watched it on this weekend.
If Mark could throw this video up, since we're on this, I sent it to you, Mo. The San Diego Strike Force and the Bay Area Panthers, co-owned by Marshawn Lynch.
Okay.
By the way, I'm told the Bay Area team is not required to speak with media if they do not want to. But
that tracks. Absolutely.
But
tracks.
Apparently there was a fight at the game, but it was not on the field. It was in the stands between family members of the two teams. Can we get that full screen? Maybe not.
Security trying to clear out. Somebody lost a wig.
No, there you go.
He pulled off somebody's wig, and now they're going to bring. Now, you know what? Oh, now one of the players goes into the stand. Three players go into the stand. 4 players are into the stands now. So this looks like it's a fight between family members on teams. Now you've got 3 Bay Area players in the stands. And you've got one player as well in the stands.
With less than a minute to play.
San Diego. This now has become a news story here more than anything else.
Well, all the players that went in the stands, they ought to get ejected and possibly suspended. You can't do that. I don't care for whatever reason. You got to stay on the field.
Oh, man, we have wigs pulled off here. We have players in the stands. I could just tell. I could just tell it was between families because somebody down there on the strike force was getting really agitated, getting ready here on an onside kick. And was like, I'm not ready for the onside kick. I want to see what's going on in the stands. And so
you can't go in the stands. And Chris Wiggins and his crew now, they've got something to real sort out.
You got guys going into now running out
into the concourse.
Not even just into the stands.
Oh, wow.
But
this is Falls County
now
anywhere.
They're escorting a lot of folks out.
I mean, have you ever seen anything? Now, look, it's indoor football. I've seen a lot of things in indoor football. I've seen some crazy. I've never seen this.
You know what my immediate thought was? They had made an announcement that there was half-price hot dogs at the concession stand.
The game's almost over. Hot dogs are half price.
You know what? It's been a while since I've ate. I better run up there. Just grab a wig on the way out, just to get a few shots. Man, that is.
Game 5, week
yeah.
5 UFL action: San Antonio 25, Arlington 15. Birmingham 32-9 over Houston.
Beat down.
St. Louis 45, the DC Defenders with Chris Rowland 12. Ouch.
One
And
catch, 10 yards for Chris.
And the Mission Panthers all over the Memphis Showboats 35-18.
Showboats 1-4 on the year.
Showboats 1-4. Yeah.
They've got the Stallions on Saturday at noon ahead of the Kentucky Derby. So if you're looking for something to do as instead of watching celebrity TV, catch that. That's on ABC. Going to be interesting as both Birmingham and St. Louis have tune-up games ahead of their major showdown May 11th, which is also Braves Day at Protective Stadium, where you can come take a picture with Blooper and all kinds of cool stuff going on at Protective on May 11th. So just saying.
There's definitely 2 tiers in the UFL because Arlington, Houston, and the Showboats all 1-4 or worse. And then it's everybody else. So
there you go.
The pecking order has emerged.
It has been established for sure.
No doubt.
Nashville Soccer Club.
Oof.
Maybe we need to have Valera on to tell us just what exactly is wrong over there. But
it ain't good, man. No.
1-9-1, 1-8-1.
Yeah, we talked about it last week a little bit in the run up to that game that if they did not get all 3 points with a win versus the Earthquakes, it would not be a pretty situation. And another 1-1,
and it's not.
No, and it isn't very much not. So no matter how you slice it or dice it, if you were a Preds fan or a NSC fan, or heaven forbid, a fan of both, it was a rough weekend. Yeah, 9 matches played, 1 win. 5 draws, 3 losses.
5 draws.
And that's the bad part is, it's one thing to draw versus quality opposition, but Nashville, we've talked about their injury issues. Zimmerman was not in the starting lineup, as best I recall, from Saturday. Shaq Moore's been sidelined. Doesn't matter who's really playing. Mukhtar did get a goal, but you cannot draw to San Jose at home. That's just inexcusable.
And this is coming off a year where they set a record for most home wins in a year. I mean, it's not like this team is vastly different from last year. I don't understand what's going on.
Zimmerman being out for the few games did hurt them, and they've struggled. And Belair told us a couple of weeks ago, if our viewers remember, Nashville plays what we call like a high variance strategy. They don't score a lot of goals. They don't blow a lot of teams out. It's kind of like the Titans with Vrabel in a sense.
And the Preds with they'd rather win 1-0 than 4-3.
Right. And so when you're not getting as many chances and relying on just hanging on for 1-0 wins or 2-1 wins, when those chances don't go your way, things can get really ugly. And that's kind of the mix that we're in right now. Nashville has now lost to Philadelphia at home. They lost to Miami a couple weeks ago, and they drew San Jose. And again, that's just a putrid result at home. They gotta be better than that. They get Montreal coming up, who's not bad. And then that's the bad part is that they've still got a really tough stretch coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So they got to sort some things out, or else it will be chants and songs coming out of the stands that there's going to be a coaching or regime change that needs to happen.
Minnesota, the first NBA team to punch through to the conference semifinals, sweeping Phoenix over the weekend.
Boy, Phoenix is in trouble. $440 million tied up in their big 3 and can't get out of the play.
Can't get out of the opening round. Yeah.
Oh, brutal.
Indianapolis leads Milwaukee 3-1. The Knicks, the 7th seeded Knicks. Oh, wow. All 3 of your
lower seeded teams, I assume, is where he was going with that.
Yeah.
3-1 over the Lakers, Pacers, and Sixers. Bucks and Sixers.
Surprise the Bucks not winning the series. Shocking to all of us, I know.
Am I still here?
Yeah, barely.
There we
You're
go.
coming in
There
and
we
out.
go.
Give us
Yeah,
a shout
yeah.
out for the Lady Raptors.
Oh yeah. For the third straight year, they won the Williamson County Girls Flag Football Tournament Championship after not being the number 1 seed. So congrats to the Lady Raptors. Tune in tomorrow. Chip Walters from MTSU will be joining us. We'll see y'all at 2:00 here on Main Street Sports Today. Thanks.